Alright, Stax, I think I'm gonna sit this video out, take a little break there. Are you gonna be able to manage this video on your own?
Of course, why wouldn't I be able to? It'll be fine, don't worry.
Alright, cool. Well, I'll leave you to this one. You enjoy yourself now.
Hey, how's it going, my little tadpoles? My name is Staxlotl, and today we're going to be talking about everyone's favorite meme lord, Hispanic Memulus, otherwise known as Senor Pelo. For those of you who don't know, Senor Pelo is a comedic animator who started all the way back in 2011, and gradually built up his audience using The Moki's Show, Wahoo Bros, and various other shitposts. When it comes to comedy, Senor Pelo usually uses auditorial and visual body humor, consisting of lots of screaming, gasping, table hitting, body disfiguration, as well as other random visual humor. If you're coming to watch his videos hoping for some sort of plot or story, then you've come to the wrong person. His videos are solely focused on comedy, which might not be for everyone, but if you want a good laugh, he's a great person to go to. He's got great comedic timing and understands how to use random humor effectively. There's honestly rarely any video I've watched that didn't have me laughing at some point, which is a really good thing if you're solely based around comedy. When it comes to art, he's a very recognizable person. A lot of his characters look like they were drawn and then squished down using a transform tool, making them very short and stout. Any facial expressions he uses are very over the top and dramatic, which adds to the comedic charm of his videos. When it comes to his bigger projects, most of them are fully colored, fully animated, and have very well detailed backgrounds. But this isn't always the case. For some of his series, such as Pelo Talks, Johnny and Ill, Totally Wrong, and some of Moki's Show, they usually have black and white characters in a black and white background, aside from Moki's Show, who usually just has fully colored characters in a black and white background. And while this would normally be a gripe for me if it was a storytime animator, Senor Pelo isn't a storytime animator. He's a comedian, and that's why I feel like I should hold him to a different standard. He's not a storytime animator, he's something else, he's something different. And this is the reason why I wanted to make a video on him in the first place. When it comes to comedy, all that really matters is the structure of the joke and what your audience both sees and hears. In Senor Pelo's case, all that really matters are the characters that are interacting with each other and the sounds you hear for the joke itself. Color and scenes don't really play a role unless they're part of the joke, and if they are, they'd already be added into the video. Senor Pelo already seems to know this, and decides not to put in any extra effort into something that has little to no impact on the jokes he's making. The jokes he makes in Pelo Talks and Moki's Show don't necessarily need a scene whatsoever. They can happen anywhere, and not having any backgrounds can allow for more creative jokes such as this one.
It's a beautiful day! Look at this snow! Look at this snow, man! What the fuck is that? Oh no! Oh! Oh no! Oh no!
But if you're based more on telling stories and setting up a scene, then you're definitely going to need a background to help your audience visualize what you're talking about. Because unlike most comedy skits, a story is based on the world the narrator resides in. Whereas in comedy, a joke is based on the character's interaction with the scenario. So if the joke is just between two people, there's no scene needed for the joke itself to land. But in a story, characters exist within a certain setting, and that setting needs to be portrayed to the audience for them to understand it. Coming back into Senor Pelo's videos, he understands when a setting is needed to help the joke land. Most of the Splatoon videos themselves have some sort of battlefield going on, which helps build the world of Splatoon for those who don't know it. The characters almost always interact in the environment in some way as well, which adds to the purpose of the backgrounds that Senor Pelo creates in his videos. Now, when it comes to the issues I have in Senor Pelo's content, there's only just a few to name. The first issue being the lack of variety in the joke style. In most of his videos, he utilizes very random humor, and it's very unlikely to see some sort of structure and plot in his jokes. But I will go ahead and give him some credit. In his series Pelo Talks, a lot of his jokes have some structure to them on the topic that he's talking about. and while there are some random jokes put here and there, the series does consist of very well structured jokes. My second issue with Senor Pelo is the fact that a lot of his dialogue is very quiet and whispery. Whether this is intentional or not, I don't know, but pair that with his thick accent, it's very hard to understand what his characters are saying from time to time. The only way I can think of fixing this without changing the tone of the videos is by amplifying the audio just a little bit more before mastering it. That way the dialogue is slightly louder, and it doesn't ruin any of the screaming gags. Now, if there's anything to take away from this video, it would be to understand your content's medium. It's better to know what you need to make your content as effective as possible, without overworking yourself to a point where it adds no value to the video, or underworking yourself to a point where your content is hard to understand because of lack of visuals or sounds. Going through your audio and finding out what you need to make your videos click and seem more understandable to the audience is something that many people should look into doing. If you're telling a story, try adding characters and scenes. If you're telling a joke, use what the joke is talking about. If you're talking about a certain subject, then show what you're talking about in video or image format. When you're done, look at the product and see what you can add or take away, just to give that video a little bit more oomph without overdoing it. Is something unnecessary and doesn't need to be there in the video? Just take it out. Does something need to be added in order to clarify what the characters are talking about? Then throw it in. Doing this will help you get a grasp on what your content's about, as well as make it easier for you in making videos of that genre in the future. Overall, Senor Pelo is really good at what he does. He understands how to mix comedy and animation, and knows what he needs to add in each video in order to make his jokes land. If you enjoy cartoons and random humor, Senor Pelo is someone I would really recommend. But in the meantime, my name is Staxlotl. If you like what I do and want to support me, I have a Patreon. If you want to hang out and talk, I have a Discord. Both will have links in the description below. And in the meantime, I hope you all have a good day.